She told me to get out, in front of her entire family. And everyone at that table smirked like I had finally shown my true colors. 3 days later, when she came home expecting the same obedient husband, she found the apartment stripped clean of everything I owned. And that was only the beginning. If you've ever been humiliated, dismissed, or told to shrink yourself to keep the peace, hit like, subscribe, and stay with me. Because this husband-wife story transformation isn't about revenge. It's about the moment a man decides he's done being disrespected. Now, let's begin. Thanksgiving at her mother's house was tradition. But tradition can feel a lot like obligation when respect isn't part of the recipe. We have been married 3 years. 3 years of polite smiles. 3 years of swallowing comments. 3 years of me trying to be understanding. Lauren wasn't cruel. She was conditioned. Conditioned to prioritize her mother's approval. Conditioned to believe conflict meant disrespect. Conditioned to think I would always smooth things over. Her mother, Diane, ran that family like a boardroom. Sharp, opinionated, never wrong. And in her eyes, I had never been enough. Not tall enough. Not wealthy enough. Not important enough. I worked in network security. Systems analyst. But to Diane, I fixed computers. And every holiday dinner was another subtle reminder. But that Thanksgiving, it wasn't subtle. The dining room looked staged for a magazine shoot. Candles perfectly aligned. Napkins folded like sculptures. Silverware placed with military precision. Appearances mattered in that house. Truth didn't. Small talk floated across the table. Football. Recipes. Office gossip. Then Diane leaned forward, swirling her wine. Still working at that. What do you call it? Phone help job. A few cousins chuckled. I corrected her calmly. I'm a systems analyst in network security. She waved her hand dismissively. Right. One of those computer things. Then she sharpened. When Lauren told me she was marrying someone in tech, I thought she meant someone important. Instead, she brought home a man who fixes broken laptops. The table froze. Forks midair. Glasses paused. Eyes lowered. I felt heat rise in my chest. But my voice stayed steady. I'm good at what I do. I support your daughter. We have a stable life. I don't see failure anywhere in that. And that's when Lauren turned toward me. Not embarrassed. Not protective. Furious. Don't talk back to my mother, she hissed. Apologize. The room watched like a jury. I'm not apologizing for defending myself, I said quietly. Chair scraped. Wine glass trembled. Diane's voice cracked through the room. Then get out. Leave my house. I waited. Just one word from Lauren. One sentence. 1 ounce of loyalty. She crossed her arms. You heard her. Silence pressed down like weight. And in that silence, something inside me shifted. Not anger. Clarity. I folded my napkin, stood up, and walked out. The drive back to our apartment felt unreal. Street lights blurred. No calls. No texts. Nothing. She didn't check if I got home safe. Didn't defend me afterward. Didn't explain. When I walked into the apartment, everything looked the same. Her shoes by the door. Her blanket on the couch. The faint smell of vanilla candle wax. But something was different. Me. She told me to get out. In front of witnesses. And I realized something terrifying. I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt calmed out. I pulled out a duffel bag. Folded shirts. Jeans. Laptop. Important documents. Passport. Each movement precise. No shaking hands. No tears. No die. Just order. By morning, I had a plan. By noon, I had a place to stay. Marked spare room. By evening, I had photographed every item in the apartment. Documented everything. 3 days passed. No word from Lauren. But her family? Oh, they messaged. Long paragraphs. Moral lectures. Accusations. I didn't respond. I wasn't defending myself anymore. I was preparing to leave. Sunday evening. 6 missed calls. Then a text. I'm coming home. We need to talk. Commanding. Like nothing had changed. When she walked into the apartment and saw the missing furniture, the empty shelves, the stripped closet, she froze. Where's your stuff? I moved out, I said calmly. You moved out? You were supposed to stay and talk. Adults don't humiliate their spouse publicly and expect them to wait around afterward. She paced. First anger, then softness. I overreacted. It was stressful. We can fix this. I looked at her carefully. There's nothing to fix. Her face went pale. Done with what? Done with this marriage. The word hung in the air like smoke. She cried. Fast. Strategic. I'll set boundaries with my mom. Were those boundaries Thursday? Silence. Then the threat. If you do this, you'll regret it. My family has lawyers. I'm not taking anything that isn't mine, I said. Her voice cracked when she realized I had already separated our finances. She stormed out. But the power dynamic had shifted, and she knew it. They showed up Friday evening. Diane, Jason, Claire. Diane didn't hesitate. You're breaking my daughter's heart because your ego was bruised. You call me a failure in front of 12 people, I replied calmly. I was being honest, she snapped. You're not my family, I said. That one landed hard. She threatened reputational damage. I told her, tell whoever you want. I've got nothing to hide. Can your daughters say the same? For the first time, Diane looked uncertain. They left defeated, and I slept peacefully. When Lauren called after speaking to her lawyer, her voice was different. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. That was the truth. She expected me to return, to apologize, to smooth things over, like always. But I wasn't that man anymore. 6 weeks later, the divorce finalized. No alimony. Clean split. No lingering tais. Attorney Chandler slid the papers across the table. One of the smoothest cases I've handled. I walked out into sunlight, and for the first time in years, I felt light. Months later, I met someone new. Dinner at her parents' house. Her mother made a small remark about my job. Before I could respond, my girlfriend spoke. Mom, he's excellent at what he does. If you can't respect that, we're leaving. Her mother apologized immediately. My girlfriend squeezed my hand under the table. Nobody disrespects you, she whispered. Not even family. And I believed her. Because respect isn't dramatic. It's immediate. Marriage isn't about winning arguments. It's about loyalty in rooms where you're not present. It's about protection when you're vulnerable. And sometimes the loudest turning point in a person's life is the quiet moment they decide not to return. She told me to get out. So I did. And I never looked back. If this story resonated with you, hit like. Drop a comment. What would you have done in that situation? And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful husband-wife story transformations. Because sometimes the strongest move isn't fighting harder. It's walking away.